OK, there's a lot of positivity about the Western Bulldogs in Melbourne, a lot of positivity. But, Kane, you're on a little bit of a roll with your negativity. So give us an early volcano. Strap yourself in, even over there, Damo.
Well, I just haven't been as in shock as much watching a game of footy as what I was last night. I don't think anyone saw it coming. I think you'd be lying if you said that you did. But let's take a look at these first quarter numbers. This is an embarrassment from a Port Adelaide side who has prided themselves on the contested footy. Minus 23 in one quarter. Look at the clearances, the inside 50. The Western Bulldogs outmarked Port Adelaide in the forward line, 6 contested marks and 37 points. These are some of the efforts. I mean, I hope they force the players to sit through this. This is just, it really is a team that just wasn't prepared. I don't know what happened in the week off and the training that they went through. Were they a cocky group? Who would know? All I know is that this will leave a lasting legacy on a lot of footballers' careers when they go back and watch the tape of this. This is, players that are out crumb. That was Bergman and Bontempelli just letting the best player in the game run through. I mean, we could have shown a million highlights or lowlights from Port Adelaide, but the legacy that this will leave on a group, there was a lot of footballers that were buried at the Adelaide Oval last night.
They say the hardest final to win is the prelim, to actually get into the grand final. Did they defend with their lives last night? And do the players look at how they structured up and the coaching staff and say, were we set up to defend with our lives? And you've got to ask the question of Ken Hinkley, why this man started on the bench when he'd done the job on Tom Liberatore before that. So Liberatore, all of a sudden, they don't go to him and he's mentally fresh. He gets in there, gets the first one out to a very important player in Bontempelli. So Bontempelli's in the game. Well, Drew, now again, Liberatore over there. He gets the next one. He kicked the first goal last week, gets it forward. They don't defend. Bailey Smith, most dangerous man last week, an easy one. So Liberatore is in the game. Again, Liberatore got nobody on him. He gets this one out. That's what he does. That's what Willem Drew needed to stop, but they didn't set up for that. And they get this forward and they kick a goal. So how do you expect everybody else to defend when your coach doesn't defend from the start and put Drew on Liberatore? That's an easy ball inside 50. That came from a 50-metre penalty. Hannon takes a very easy mark. This one, you've got Butters on Bontempelli. Bontempelli, arguably the best player in the game. The ball turns over, then it goes back in, and Zach Butters, as good as he is, starts walking in. Marcus Bontempelli charges in, kicks this goal. These are all in the first quarter. This is the 5th goal, and it went on all night. Have a look at this. Darcy Byrne-Jones had a poor first quarter. He's got Mitch Hannon. You love the Mbiama cross, you've got Mitch Hannon. But all of a sudden he loses him, and he starts to go, OK, Bailey Smith. Bailey Smith has been covered by a man. And where's Mitch Hannon? Mitch Hannon's all back. Darcy Byrne-Jones, where are you? You're nowhere in that contest. And then this one, Aliir has to go up to a contest. So you've got Dersma coming back on Shaki. Are you really defending with your life there? I don't think you're defending hard enough going back with the flight to help out a teammate who's up the field.
Nice. Well done, Brownie. And Kane and Damo, I think Ken Hinkley will ask himself the question. The fitness coach at Port Adelaide will say, did we prepare our players well enough? Because let's take a look at now the history of Port Adelaide. Their last 3 final series, they've gone down. Not only have they gone down, but they've gone down at the Adelaide Oval with so much going right for them. So West Coast after the siren, Luke Shuey, Richmond, who had to back up week after week last year, and now this belting. It'll fall hard on the coach and the fitness staff, you would have thought, Kane and Damo.
Yeah, Lordo, it is an issue, isn't it? I mean, he's been there at the club now, Ken Hinkley, for the best part of a decade. You throw in the 2014 loss in a preliminary final as well, so he's got to that stage of the season now 3 times. I know there's been different circumstances each time. They were unlucky last year. They got dustied in that particular prelim final, missed by a kick, but to Kane's point, what happened last night, it wasn't just on the players. It's on that man on screen now. He would know that. He would know that. Now, the discussions that now emanate out of this disaster are going to be very intriguing. We know the backdrop of the club needing to be successful. It ultimately hasn't been under that watch. And the mindset, everything was going right this year. They ended up getting it to a point where they had it on their terms and they absolutely blew it. And we don't often use this word these days, but they did choke as a football club last night. Every aspect of it choked.
Well, OK, I get that, and it's the nature of the beast being the media, is that you start to bring coaches into question on the back of bad performances. But, Chris Scott, there's similar conversations about Chris Scott. They did get them to a prelim.
But I think also you're exposed, though, in prelims and big games. And we've seen, like, the way Essendon were exposed in the first week. Brisbane keep getting exposed. So that's where Ken Hinkley and Chris Scott in recent times, at least Scotty got them to a grand final last year, Kane. But you've been on to this. Ken Hinkley, 10 years at the club, and they've fallen short again. I'm with Damo. It was a major choke from Port Adelaide last night.
Yeah, and I agree with everything you've both said. It's that 10-year mark which Ken Hinkley is going into next year without a premiership. I mean, that seems to be almost the unwritten sort of tenure for a coach if they don't get a premiership. We saw that with Nathan Buckley this year after getting so close. Contracted until the end of 2023, but the pressure's coming big time.
Yes, I think so, Kane. Hey, well done to the Dogs. Very impressive. I know you said they had the perfect build-up, but have a look at this. 5 different states in 14
Where'd they
days.
go, Bill?
Well, there's Launceston there. They started there.
That's Hobart down there.
No,
back there.
actually, yeah, it's halfway between Hobart and Launceston. So then at week 2, of course, they went up to Toowoomba.
No, Brisbane.
Brisbane, and then they went across to Bunbury, over there, Perth, and then, of course, they went to Victor Harbour, so Adelaide there. Then they went back to Perth, of course. So look at that. That is unbelievable. But you know what? They love it. I reckon they love it. They love the backs to the wall. They come out swinging, us against them. So, certainly Beveridge loves that.
Well, Luke Beveridge is the master at us against them, isn't it? Because he came out swinging on Friday against the South Australian government, and I think he said something like, which really would quite literally get up your nose, 14 COVID tests in about 28 days.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
it's a lot.
They've done their bit, haven't they?
They have.
They have, TJ, and we've highlighted how poor Port were, but let's look at how good the Western Bulldogs are. And you go to hostile territory, you've got to be on right from the first bounce, and they kicked 7 goals to 1 in the first quarter. I love this. They ran harder, they drew the man to get the overlap. I don't know what McKenzie's doing, but I love Norton's energy last night. He was running, he was flying at the ball.
Jumping.
So, yeah, they had the energy that Port didn't early in a big final. So I love that from Norton. This one here, Mitch Hannon, he just charges in. I don't know where Port Adelaide are, but again, Hannon probably charged off the bench and said, I want that ball. That's what they had last night. We've highlighted this one before, but look at Bont. He's there with the captain, Jonas. Bergman's here, but the energy and how dynamic they were. He kicks the goal, Bontempelli, and I love this last one. You wonder why Bailey Smith has kicked 7 goals in the last 2 finals. This is Bailey leading up, calling for the ball. They don't use him. He doesn't say, I'll just walk. I'm going to go even harder. This is huge. Vandermeer pushes a good player, butters off the ball. Who bobs up to get the handball? It's Bailey Smith. So he doesn't get used, but then he bobs up and kicks another goal. So, TJ, they deserve everything they get. Their midfield bat's as deep as anyone's, and they're running their opponents off their feet.
And Damo, you would have thought that Luke Beveridge, we spoke about the us versus them sort of policy that he tends to adopt. But I was taken aback, though, I've got to say, with his after-match comments last night. I don't know who they were directed at. We assumed Kane, in all honesty, but it could be one of several people. Just take us through this.
Yeah, it is interesting, TJ. I mean, he's been able to create this world against the Western Bulldogs outlook. It happened in 2016. It's happened more this year. And look, whether it's real, whether it's perceived, but it's part of the layers of genius to this man as a coach. And it was surprising. Post-match, he was prepared to enter and volunteer down this path of getting back at people who had said or done something against him and his footy club. And this is just moments after the game when he had this to say.
Some of the ridiculous commentary and insinuations around Adam was just so distasteful from people. Like, if you're going to fail at something, don't fail at trying to pull people down. I just don't know how people can sleep next to people like that when they're so vindictive. And that was nasty. I was so happy to see him play well tonight.
So the Bulldogs won, by the way. It was unusual, and I don't know if it was premeditated and whether he was just saying things before he was actually thinking about them, but it did really get off the rails. Kane, do you think that some of that might have been directed at you because of your criticism of Adam Treloar?
Yeah, I was critical of Adam Treloar's body language and his performance last week, and I stand by it. I mean, I challenge anyone to go back and look at Adam Treloar's efforts last week. They were poor. It wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't call it out to the point where he almost gave up in some contests. I don't know if those comments were at me. I think it'd be much easier if Luke had the courage to actually name the people he was being critical of. And it would seem strange that he would bring, if it was me, my wife into those comments after a game. I'd find that incredibly strange. But as Damo said, all good coaches stand up for their players, and that's what he did after one of his most famous wins.